All right, this is a supplement to what the solution to the home improvement building supply company, and it's going to show you the screenshots of the solver inputs that you weren't able to see when I was sharing that Excel file on Collaborate Ultra. So again, to start out, this is the initial spreadsheet that we had, and again, it's exactly a screenshot. And again, our decision variable cells are here in this cell, and this is just the empty screen before with the formulas that are entered before we go to the solver. So what I would do here that's not shown is, of course, at the top right of the Excel spreadsheet up here, I would click the solver icon, and then the next screen would show up, and you would actually be able to see. You'd actually be able to see both the solver input as well as your spreadsheet. Now, I actually, of course, when you see this, I've blown up the solver spreadsheet in order to make this hopefully a little bit more clear. So the first step is to go to the solver where it says set objective window. Click the icon here. It'll bring up your cursor, and then you'll go and just click on this cell so that the solver knows what cell that has the objective function calculated. Then, of course, you'll want to make sure that you click the minimize, because this is a minimization problem, radio button. I will say this is where a lot of students make mistakes. They forget, they think, because it'll come up, this screen will come up with the default as maximization problem. So you want to be sure to click the minimization radio button, and or just leave it in maximization. So make sure whichever type problem you have, the correct radio button is selected. Okay, so that's the first two steps. Then next, you'll go down to, and it says changing variable cells. And again, you'll come over here to this button, click on this indicator, the window will come up, and it will allow you to click and drag over the empty decision variable cells. Okay, and those are the values that go into the locations of these decision variable cells go into this window. And that's the next important step. We don't want to go up to, students will sometimes click where it says pattern A, B, C, D. No, we have to, these have to be empty so that the Excel solver can put numbers in these so as it works to solve and find the optimal solution. Okay, then the next step that we're going to go to is we're going to add constraints. And so once you highlight these cells and press enter, then you'll go to the add button to add constraints. All right, and there's really three or four steps here with this. You'll click the add constraint button, and then another window will come up that looks like this, that's add a constraint. And at this point, if you've put both values and the orientation of the inequality is the same, you can click the indicator and highlight the constraint functions. Then you'll want to click the drop-down menu and choose greater than or equal to, since all three of these constraints are greater than or equal to. And then you'll come over and click this button, and you'll go and highlight these three cells which contain the values for the number of boards that are required. So these cells are the functions, and these cells are the requirements. And of course, the drop-down menu gives the relationship that you want to satisfy. Once you've entered, if you need to add additional constraints, at this point you can click Add and then repeat the process for different constraints. Or if you're done, as you are in this case, you click OK, and it'll take you back to the main solver window, which we're going to next. So then now you're ready to solve. You'll notice this is the location for your objective function. It's column C in row 15. Your changing variable cells, C11 to H11. Your constraints are all entered, and they're all greater than or equal to constraints. Then you want to check and make sure that this box has a check in it, because this is where accounts for your non-negativity constraints. And then you want to click the drop-down menu. There's 3 or 4 options there, and you'll want to select Simplex LP. Once you've selected and clicked on Simplex LP, then you go to Solve. You click the Solve button, and lo and behold, it'll, in just a split second, it'll produce the answer that we saw previously. Now there will be another window that'll come up, and that says, assuming that you've done everything correctly, that says, ask you if you want to keep the solution, and you should click OK at that point. Anyway, that's the process, and those are the windows for using Solver. All right, so hopefully between these two you can work through that. If I were you, I would go back and delete the cells and try to do this and make sure you can come up with a solution that matches what we've already done. All right, so I think that'll do it. Good luck. Again, let me know if you have questions.